Welcome to 70 System. This is Treacherous Trap Tuesday. I know you've been champing at the bit, waiting for this to come out. Of course, we have to come up with some kind of fiendish trap that's going to keep your players wanting to throttle you for all the damage you're doing. And this one is called Whack-A-Mole. So if you'd like to support the making of these videos, check out patreon.com/70system. You can also find my art on Redbubble. Yep, it's that way around. Redbubble.com/people/the-mg-info/shop. There's so many forward slashes that we have to get a trap going that does some bashing instead of slashing. And that brings us, of course, to Whack-A-Mole. Now, this trap is something where you create an environment where the players have to climb up through something. So they have to climb up through these long tubes. So you make it a real challenge. You know, the tubes are thin, they have to like put their back against the wall and walk their feet and back up the wall as they go. And you get to the top and they put their hands over the edge of this circular hole, and of course all the tiles around the edges are the trigger. Of course, you don't actually have to have this be mechanical. You could use just gobbos with a big stick, but let's keep it mechanical for now. The obfuscation is the fact that, you know, the trap is above them and they're climbing through the base of the trap. So they would have no idea that this is what's going to happen. So their hands come over the edge and that triggers the trap. Now, all it requires is just there's something to just come slap down on their hands. Insert Wilhelm scream here. Of course, if you're using gobbos, they can just have clubs and be bashing them on the hands. Anything to that nature. And of course, now the actual effect of the trap is them falling back down this really long hole. Of course, at the bottom now, you know, when you've hit the trigger, you could actually then have something at the bottom that opens up. They may have even detected it, that there's, you know, these spikes that come through the floor or something. You can make that really obvious. Really, really obvious. You know, but probably not so much because, you know, we're that kind of people. You don't want to make it obvious. So you have some spikes on the floor, or just using the effect of the drop itself to do all the damage. If you're basically having one hole that they're climbing up as a group, the person at the top falls, hits the next person, hits the next person, hits the next person, and so on and so forth. But it's a little bit better if there's like 4 or 5 holes that they can climb up and each person's coming up their own hole. And there's a gobbo with a bat at the top that's just sorting them out one at a time, damn these adventurers, and sending them back down to their doom where they belong. Filthy adventurers, ruining a perfectly good dungeon that took months to plan and moments to molest. Ay, caramba. Of course, adaptation here, you can then have the second climb up, and if they hit the trigger, this time there's a blast of water that comes down from the top. Or maybe a tile moves on the side and hot lava comes in. There's all kinds of cool stuff you could be doing at this point. How on earth are they going to get out of this hole to get to wherever it is at the top? There's got to be something at the top. Of course, the lure is this is the only way to get there. You know, so you're luring them up these holes. Of course, you could put some kind of glinting golden aura glow at the top, which is basically a gobbo with a shield that's reflecting some light down the hole. You gotta love gobbos. Of course, if your players are wise enough to be wearing gauntlets, they may not get... That slap may do nothing, so you want to then bring out the axe. See you later, fingerator. That's where some dumbass gobbos come in handy. Of course, if it's mechanical, it's just going to beat down with whatever kind of whacking stick has been applied in the room there. Yeah. Whatever you like. Get the players to describe their fall to death on the way down. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and if you'd like to find out more about this game, 70 System, check out 70system.com. Of course, there's my other channels, dng.info and Drawing Worlds, where you can see my artwork, like this. Whoa, that's the cover to 70s. Anyway, that's enough about that. We can now roll the credits.